On that and much, much more, we head over to retired U.S. Navy Rear Admiral Mark Montgomery. He leads efforts to advance national security through tech innovation and at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Admiral, it's so great to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Admiral, let's start with your assessment on the Trump administration's attempt to try to get traffic in that critical Strait of Hormuz back to normal. You have previously participated firsthand in operations to try to protect that crucial waterway against Iranian missiles. I'm not sure if you heard from the Energy Secretary earlier on Sunday saying that it is his expectation to get traffic back to normal, not in months, but in the weeks ahead. Is that realistic in your view?
So you're right. I have done, 30 or 40 Straits of Hormuz transits, sometimes during crises where we're trying to keep it open versus the Iranians. And I'll tell you, given the condition we're in a condition of all-out war with the Iranian IRGC forces, I think it's going to take the whole of the 4-week air campaign to set the conditions for a reasonably, not risk-free, but risk-manageable transit scheme. So what I mean by that is it'll take 4 weeks to set back their ability to mine, their ability to do anti-ship cruise missiles, their ability to fire drones into tankers being escorted by the U.S. Navy. And so you want to reduce that risk, set the conditions. And to me, that's probably about 4 weeks from now. And that's a tough number, and one the President and the Secretary of Energy wish were quicker. But to do it faster means a lot more risk for everyone involved.
Yeah, without a doubt, the Secretary is also quite familiar with the political implications of these rising oil prices. And as you know very well firsthand, what happens there in the Strait of Hormuz certainly has that trickle-down effect. Let's shift gears to some of that reporting that we just shared with our viewers around the world a little while ago about Ukrainian forces now providing some assistance now to the U.S. military. If you could just share the unique expertise that the Ukrainian forces offer the U.S. military, that U.S. forces can't find anywhere else.
Thanks. I spend a couple months a year in Ukraine training their forces and working with them. And one of the most impressive things they have are these counter UAS or counter drone systems. They mix in both air protection using F-16s with advanced precision kill weapon system, which we have with our F-15s, but they mix it with a ground-based capability, drones like Mirops and Octopus and Bullet that can all be fired and protect an area 1 to 10 kilometers in radius. That is what we're missing. And the fact that Ukraine is willing to send us people and equipment and send our Arab allies people and equipment while they're in the middle of a war with Russia where they could use these forces demonstrates just what a good ally Ukraine is and how willing they are to help us in our time of need and our Arab partners in their time of need.
I wonder if you could also address the new supreme leader's announcement there out of Iran. Do you see any potential changes when it comes to so many countries now in the Persian Gulf that continue to report these Iranian strikes? Does a new leader perhaps mean a new strategy for Iran and these strikes against some of their neighbors?
So as it comes to the United States and Israel, no. I mean, this is a person that was a hardliner, and his mother, father, and wife have been killed in the last week by U.S. or Israeli forces. So I don't think he's not Delcy Rodriguez and ready to, make that kind of deal with us. So look, from my perspective, the most important thing we can do is maintain our air campaign to destroy all those forces that Iran has had to impose cost on others. In other words, their missile systems, their drone systems, their nuclear systems, their naval ships, their enemy air defense. We have to knock those systems back 3, 5, 7 years. That should be the strategic aim of the United States at this point. The idea that we're going to make a deal with a IRGC follow-on leader that somehow liberates or opens Iran is probably a misconception by the president. Instead, he should press hard with the military campaign to eliminate Iran's ability to impact its neighbors, Israel, and the United States.
Yeah, Admiral, you're just the latest out of many experts that have shared why Iran is certainly not Venezuela in terms of the geopolitics at play here. So thank you so much, Admiral, for laying all that out, and as always, for offering your expertise.
Thank you for having me.